Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll do a quick review of the day's aspects before I play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is here because it represents astrologically the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit in the land of Virgo. Now, Virgo is an earth sign. Coins or pentacles in tarot are earth element. And earth element symbolism is about the physical resources we have, our bodies, the money that we have, the nice things we like to have, our health, wealth, and finances, and what we are willing to do with them, what kind of work we are willing to do to create something secure for ourselves, something that holds us up, that we can rely on, that we can look forward to and fall back on as well. And so we come to the Nine of Pentacles, and we see a person who has put a lot of time, a lot of heart, a lot of physical effort, a lot of personal wisdom into, a lot of dedicated effort into growing this garden. And the garden is representative of anything that you might try to build for yourself that would be considered like a structure for support, right? A sort of foundation upon which you can rely. So this person has put a lot of their time and effort into this garden, and now they are surrounded by ripe fruits and ripe pentacles. You know, they have created something that has value for them. And this took dedication and a certain amount of like personal discipline and wisdom. And to me, the personal discipline and the wisdom are sort of spoken to in terms of this person's relationship to this bird here, this little bird friend that they keep nearby them. And, you know, to keep a friend like that, you definitely have to be, you know, sort of, you have to have some wisdom. You have to know how to talk to the bird, right? And you also have to know how to talk to the garden to get the garden to grow and to get the value out of it that you desire to get. So this person did the work, and now they have the fruits of their labor, and they're able to dress the way they would like to dress, and they're able to, you know, enjoy their abundance in the, you know, relative security behind a wall, or, you know, perhaps behind a hill. I can't really tell. Still, this is a very secure position to be in, and again, it is because they did the work. All right, so there is no reward without effort, but this is the reminder that effort brings reward. This is a person who does not have to worry about juggling their money too much. They can have the things that they like and also have the things that they need and desire, or the things that they need, desire and need. Okay, and with all of that said, I am going to mix up some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Virgo, and so is Venus. So, you know, in our outer life, in our sort of conscious life, the way we deal with people out in the world, our work, social, and civic lives, you know, we're really interested in you know, practical progress, right? We see problems and we want to solve them. We have this sort of critical mind that sees how to arrange things so that they work well for us. And, you know, that's also happening with Venus. Venus is currently in Virgo over here as well. So Venus in Virgo is a time when, you know, in our romantic relationships and in our sort of our financial dealings as well, the things that we're doing, the interactions we're having, we want them to make sense to us, and that we want them to add a sense of stability and stability and support to our lives. So if we're, you know, entertaining jobs, if we're entertaining fun time, if we're entertaining romantic interests, or, you know, purchases, investments that don't make sense, we're not going to have a lot of interest in them. And then on the moon side, the moon is a waxing gibbous. in Aquarius. It will go into Pisces late tonight, near midnight, where it will be when it's full on Saturday in Pisces as well. So right now it's a waxing gibbous moon in Aquarius, and waxing gibbous is a time when we are not just taking the actions to culminate the goals that we have set for ourselves, but actually kind of looking around to see, how we might need or desire to change our plans as we are acting on them, so that we can get sort of bigger, better stuff out of them. Right? And Aquarius is a great sign for that, because it's very big picture oriented. It's very intellectual, and so we're kind of thinking as we're doing, as we're taking the actions that we need to take to culminate those goals. We're looking around and seeing big picture wise what more we can do to make those goals have more value for us. And on the moon side of the page today, the moon has a couple of interesting aspects. It goes square. Here's the moon. Moon goes square to Uranus and conjunct to Saturn. So for a while here, Moon and Saturn are like right next to each other, or right on top of each other. And Moon and Saturn in conjunct together, it sort of really intensifies the sober and practical nature of our hearts and in our homes. Okay, so Saturn just sort of brings the hammer down and makes us focus on what works, what is tried and true, what is traditional. And it can sort of also bring the mood down a little bit. We become a little bit more sober in our approach to matters of the heart and home. And square to Uranus, it looks like we might have some impulsiveness come up, or some just changes to the routine. Some stuff might happen around us in the heart and home that feels like maybe too much excitement, too much change, and it might not work well for us to try to make those kind of impulsive changes, or to try to roll with those impulsive changes. When Uranus is involved, I'm always saying, communicate well with the people around you. Be really clear about what your expectations and your desires are, even as they are changing. And then we have this beautiful 16-hour void of course today, starting at 7:33 in the morning and going through 11:40 tonight. So I wouldn't expect you to spend the entire day in meditation, but if you have the opportunity, it's a golden opportunity to spend some time in meditation, reflection, journaling, working with your tarot cards or your intuitive practices, your divinatory practices. It's a great time to really, because the moon is coming to us, it's sort of in between signs, and so it's coming to us sort of lacking a filter of a sign, and so we can get in touch with our own hearts much easier, and we can get in touch with our sense of spirit much easier at that time. Have those important conversations that calm the mind and center the intention, so that we know who we are now and who we'd like to be going forward. And at the end of that 16 hours, we tie it up by making ingress into Pisces. Moon is in Pisces for the next 2.5 days, and this is sort of the end of a lunar cycle. Pisces is always the last sign in the zodiac, so it's always sort of the end of a cycle. And it's a time where we sort of kick back and relax. We use our imaginations. We feel deeply. We might struggle to know what our boundaries are at this time, right? But it's really a time for reflection and relaxation, and sort of looking back on how things have gone for us, because in a couple of days, the moon's going to go right back into Aries, and it's going to be full speed ahead. On the sun side of the page today, we have a couple of ongoing things, and they're not special shapes, they're sort of partial special shapes, right? So the first one is this I'll start with Mercury. Mercury is in opposition to Jupiter here, and Mars is making a good aspect, a positive aspect with both of those. So Mars is trine to Mercury and sextile to Jupiter, while Mercury is in opposition to Jupiter. And I've interpreted this as, we're really working to sort of dislodge some verbal habits, some mental habits, some thoughts, attitudes, and dispositions that might have worked really well for us in the past, but right now they're probably sort of getting in the way of our ability to take advantage of some opportunities for expansion, opportunities to learn, opportunities for education, or opportunities to travel, to get out more in the world, to meet new people. Also opportunities to do business or to do bigger business than usual. So, it's time to pay attention to the words we say and the things that we think privately, and to ask ourselves, is this something is this thing that I keep hearing myself say, is this really getting in the way of my ability to expand, to get that education I'm looking for, to do the bigger business I'm trying to do the traveling I want to do? Because there are opportunities available to us at this time, and and we are being invited to act on them. It's a very cooperative, a cooperative thing. If you act on an expansive opportunity, you're probably going to get a good outcome from it. But Mercury is like holding us back. Our rational minds are holding us back. And, Mercury is stationing to go retrograde. So, we might have a little bit of a period of 3 weeks here of sort of reassessing, how we approach things. So we're already sort of given a reason to do that. And then we're going to come right back around to this question of like, what is it that you can do to help yourself, to help your brain, help you make the expansive choices that you want to make? And then the other shape that we have here is also that the sun is in opposition to Neptune here. And then Uranus is aspecting both of these positively, as well as Pluto. So Uranus is trine to the sun, trine to Pluto, and sextile to Neptune, but sun is in opposition to Neptune. And when sun is in opposition to Neptune, it's almost as though we're struggling to take our own dreams seriously. Neptune is retrograde, okay? So when Neptune is retrograde, I love this period of time because I have a really sort of wishy-washy, imaginative brain. I don't always know what I think before I manage to express it. But when Neptune is retrograde, I get this cognitive clarity. I get a real clarity on like, what is the dream? What is the fantasy? What is the thing I desire? What is the thing that I want to create, right? What is my imagination telling me? And if I know what my imagination is telling me, then I can also know sort of what my instincts and intuitions are telling me, right? So I get a lot of clarity about that at this time. But that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily, like, I can tell the difference between my dream life and my real life, but am I taking my dreams seriously enough? That, that desire that I have to change, to expand, to grow, to create something really beautiful for myself in the world. And then, so Uranus is in this positive position with all three of these planets. So Uranus is saying, yeah, it's time to make a change. If you want to change in the direction of your dreams, that's really auspicious right now. It's sextile, it's cooperative. We're ready to do it. Pluto also ending, the chief of our endings and beginnings is sextile to Neptune saying, yes, let's think about what you would ideally have for yourself. What is your fantasy life, and can we act to make sort of an ending and a beginning in that direction? So, and then Uranus is also working with the sun saying, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. in this blessed trine position saying, you can have these changes for the better in your outer life, even in your conscious waking life, in your work, social, and civic life, where you deal with other people. You can have things go more ideally well for yourself, if you're just willing to sort of take your dreams a little more seriously at this time. So, a lot of encouragement on the page, a lot of saying, you have expansion on your side, you have imagination on your side, you have dreams, you have desires to be, sort of that bigger, brighter version of yourself. And, that person is in here and it's trying to get out. We just have to, sort of be willing to let go of some old habitual ways of being, and perhaps also be willing to take ourselves a little more seriously. And with all of that said, I'm going to turn over this card. We got the Page of Pentacles. So, friends, Pentacles and Pentacles. It's all about the work and the resources. It's all about, having something solid to fall back on because you made that. You don't get a fallback plan that was not, that you didn't somehow create. All right. So, we're trying to build something stable and strong for ourselves that we can rely on in our lives. And the Nine of Pentacles speaks to the sort of personal rewards that come from that. And then the Page of Pentacles, it's interesting because 9 is really near the culmination. It goes 9, 10, and then Page in Pentacles. So we're really near a culmination where it's like complete fulfillment of our security and stability needs, of our resource needs. And then we get into Page, and it's almost like we have gone past fulfillment into a new zone where we can take everything that we have created, everything we have earned, and we can sort of transmute it into a package, right? Sort of a seed package or an egg, or here's like an offer of an investment, right? We can turn it around. We can take everything that we've created and we can start fresh with something new, right? We might start fresh with something that we feel like we don't really know what we're doing with it, but we at least come with a good set of resources that we have earned along the way. So it's not as though we're completely inexperienced, right? We at least have the Pentacles experience. We at least know how to, do the diligent work, follow the rules, and, and use the wisdom that it takes to grow a little bit of resources into a lot of resources, and a little bit of security into sort of ultimate security. And with that ultimate security and the knowledge that we know how to create that for ourselves, now we can come out into the world and say, hey, I wonder if I can create something fresh and new that, maybe will benefit more than just myself, because the Page is in the royal family, and the royal family serves the people, right? Represents the land and serves the people. So, we might be moving from this very experienced position into this very inexperienced position. But again, we have some experience behind us, and we have some support. We have some, we have our physical resource structure that we've built for ourselves that we can still fall back on. Where do I see that out here? Well, I'm looking at Saturn mostly when I look at Pentacles, as well as the earth signs, right? So Saturn is conjunct to the moon today, for part of the day at least. And this brings, like I said, a really sober and practical approach, especially in our private lives, in our homes, and in our hearts, in our bodies. We want to take things very seriously at this time, sort of from the heart. Emotionally speaking, we're taking things very seriously at this time. And, that's appropriate when you've got, sort of a package of resources and you're ready to make a fresh start. You don't want to be in a frivolous mode of thinking. You don't want to be in, Venus has this upcoming quincunx to Jupiter that's going to be like, I feel like spending extravagantly, I don't feel like being responsible with my resources at all. I'm just going to do whatever I want and say it's about, the growth and expansion I'm seeking. It's not going to work out well for us if we have that attitude though, right? So we really just still want to be thinking about, to be taking seriously what it is that we have, and what the investment is that we're trying to make, or, entertaining serious offers only, right? Venus rules Taurus, which is an earth sign. So, Venus is definitely very much about wanting secure resources, wanting to feel secure, wanting to be able to gather things reliably, wanting to be able to have the stuff that we like to be able to rely on to get our supplies. And Uranus has been in Taurus for a few years, will be in Taurus for a few years. So Uranus is just constantly changing that up for us. So maybe, we get that Page of Pentacles feeling because, it's like, now I have to start, buying my stuff from a different grocery store. I didn't think I was going to have to go to 3 different places to find that one thing that I needed. Or I've been waiting forever on this thing that I needed, right? That's what Uranus has been doing with us. So, it can feel a little bit wobbly, and we can feel as though, like our experience isn't always carrying us through to the stuff that we need to get on a regular basis in a reliable way. Pluto is in Capricorn, and I know I've hammered on this a lot. This is Pluto's final retrograde in the sign of Capricorn for like 25 years. So, we've really got our mind on the way our foundations, our institutions, our traditions, the things that are tried and true for us in culture, have really gone through a lot of changes. A lot of things have come to an end over the last 25 years. A lot of new things have begun. And like really the world is just not what it was back then. Like a lot of our traditions and the things that we thought would stand forever simply aren't standing any longer. And, being in Capricorn, like Pluto brings about deep and total change. It brings about endings and beginnings. And in Capricorn, that's about the stuff that we're really serious about, the stuff that we rely on, the work that we have to do, the things that we know that the sort of thoughts and ideas that we know we can rely on to help us, get the work done and achieve the goal. So, it's a new world out there, really. And, the things that you might have previously done to build your sort of empire, build your structure of security, build your garden, might not work as much anymore. And, we might have to have some sort of new and fresh perspectives going forward in terms of how we're going to approach thinking of things as tried and true, how we're going to approach what we think of as being solid or even institutional or traditional or just sort of grounded in reality, a reality that we can rely upon, right? And then, we've got Venus and Sun over here in Virgo, which is our other earth sign, saying, the things we're doing with our lives out in the world, our work, social, and civic lives, but also our romantic lives and our financial lives right now. All of this, it needs to make sense to us in the here and now. Okay, Sun, Venus, and Mercury, these are really our day-to-day, daily consideration planets. Okay, so, they're never very far from one another on the wheel. You'll notice that. That's because, we sort of need to be in a similar mode in our conscious lives and in our love lives and our financial lives and also in our ability to think, plan, and communicate. But Sun and Venus are both in Virgo right now. And, yes, we need new approaches. Yes, a lot of our traditional approaches are not working for us. So right now we're just looking around to see what makes sense, right? What is going to work for what we think is going to work for us, what feels stable, what looks like we can perhaps, make something out of it. Yes, new beginnings and inexperience in terms of our ability to, there are old ways of doing things that used to work for us to build stability. And now there are new ways of doing things. We have to put on a different pair of glasses. We have to see the world in a new way and bring our, our resources, our health, our wealth, and our finances, our bodies, our money, the things that we have that help us operate in the world, in the material world. We have to bring a whole new attitude toward handling those things so that we can build even greater security for ourselves down the road. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. I went a little long. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.